Let's do some Richard III. Tonight we are reading Richard III by William Shakespeare, adapted by Taylor Phillips.
Hooray, hooray.
Tonight playing Richard,
Bernie Bosio.
playing Buckingham, fourth messenger.
Marty Goldberg.
Playing Lord Hastings, Richmond and first murderer.
John DeFilippo.
Playing Lady Anne, young York, Lord Rivers, second messenger.
Taylor Lynn.
Playing Queen Elizabeth and Lord Oxford.
Jennifer Finger.
Playing Duke of Clarence, Sir Richard Ratcliffe and Dorset.
Michael Janove.
Playing Queen Margaret, Prince Edward and Sir James Blunt.
Valerie O'Hara.
Playing Duchess of York, Bishop of Ely, James Tyrrell.
Bove.
Playing Lord Stanley and Mayor.
David Mackler.
Playing King Edward IV, second murderer, page, third messenger, and messenger.
Tom Kane.
Playing CATESBY, Brakenbury, sheriff, first messenger, and messenger.
Miguel Fana.
Act 1, Scene 1. London, a street. Enter Richard, Duke of Gloucester, alone.
Now is the winter of our discontent made glorious summer by this son of York. And all the clouds that lowered against our house in the deep bosom of the ocean buried. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung for monuments, our stern alarms changed to merry meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures.
Capital insurrection.
Grim-visaged war hath smoothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's chamber to the lascivious pleasings of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking glass, I, that am brutally stamped and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I, that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionably that dogs bark as I halt by them. Why, I, in this weak piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to see my shadow in the sun and descant on mine own deformity. And therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, by drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence against the king, one in deadly hate against the other. And if King Edward be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should Clarence closely mute up be about a prophecy which says that G the murderer of Edward's heirs shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul. Here Edward comes.
Enter Clarence, Garden, and Brackenbury.
Brother, good day. What means this armed guard that waits upon your grace?
His Majesty, tendering my person's safety, has appointed this conduct to convey me to the tower.
Upon what cause?
Because my name is George.
Like my lord, that fault is none of yours. He should, for that, commit your godfathers.
He hearkens after prophecies and dreams, and says a wizard told him that by G his issue disinherited should be, and for my name of George begins with G, it follows in his thought that I am he.
Why, this it is, when men are ruled by women. 'Tis not the king that sends you to the tower. My Lady Grey, his wife, Clarence, 'tis she that tempers him to extremity. Was it not she and her good brother there that made him send Lord Hastings to the tower, from whence this present day he is delivered? We are not safe, Clarence. We are not safe.
Heard you not what a humble supplicant Lord Hastings was to her for his delivery?
Humbly complaining to her deity, got my Lord Chamberlain his liberty. I'll tell you what, I think it is our way, if we will keep favor with the king, to be her men and wear her livery.
I beseech your graces both to pardon me. His Majesty had straitly given in charge that no man shall have private conference, of what degree soever, with your brother.
We know thy charge, Brackenbury, and will obey.
No, but we are the queen's subjects and must obey. Brother, farewell. I will unto the king, and whatsoever you will employ me in, I will perform it to enfranchise you. Meantime, this deep disgrace in brotherhood touches me deeper than you can imagine.
I know it pleases neither of us well.
Well, your imprisonment shall not be long. I will deliver you or else slide for you. Meantime, have patience.
I must perform. Farewell.
Exit Clarence, Brackenbury, and Guard.
Go, tread the path that thou shalt never return. Simple, plain Clarence. I do love thee so that I will shortly send thy soul to heaven. If heaven will take the presents at our hands. But who comes here? The new delivered Hastings.
Enter Lord Hastings.
Good time of day unto my gracious lord.
And much unto you, my good Lord Chamberlain. Are you welcome to the open air? What news abroad?
No news so bad abroad as this at home. The king is sickly, weak, and melancholy, and his physicians fear him mightily.
Now, by St. John, that news is bad indeed. 'Tis very grievous to be thought upon. Where is he, in bed?
He is.
Go you before, and I will follow you.
Exit Hastings.
He cannot live, I hope, and must not die till George be packed with post-horse up to heaven. I'll in to urge his hatred more to Clarence, with lies well steeled with weighty arguments. And if I fail not in my deep intent, Clarence hath not another day to live, which God take King Edward to his mercy, and leave the world for me to bustle in. For then I'll marry Warwick's youngest daughter. What though I killed her husband and her father. The readiest way to make the wench amends is to become her husband and her father. The which will I, not also much for love, as for another secret close intent, by marrying her, which I must reach unto. But yet I run before my horse to market. Clarence still breathes, Edward still lives and reigns. When they are gone, then must I count my gains.
Exit Richard. Scene 2, the same, another street. Enter the corpse of King Henry VI on a bier, carried by gentlemen with halberds to guard it, followed by Lady Anne, being the mourner.
Poor key-cold figure of a holy king. Pale ashes of the house of Lancaster. A bloodless remnant of that royal blood. Be it lawful that I invocate thy ghost to hear the lamentations of poor Anne, wife to thy Edward, to thy slaughtered son, stabbed by the self-same hand that made these wounds. Oh, cursed be the hand that made these holes. Cursed the heart that had the heart to do it. Cursed the blood that let this blood from hence. More direful hap betide that hated wretch that makes us wretched by the death of thee, that I can wish to wolves, to spiders, toads, or any creeping venomed thing that lives. Come now, towards Chertsey with your holy load, taken from Paul's to be interred there.
Enter Richard, Duke of Gloucester.
What black magician conjures up this fiend to stop devoted charitable deeds?
Villains, set down the course, or by St. Paul, I'll make a course of him that disobeys.
The funeral procession continues.
Unmannered dog, stand thou when I command. Advance thy halberd higher than my breast, or by St. Paul I'll strike into my foot and spurn upon thee, beggar, for thy boldness.
They set down the bier.
Avaunt, thou dreadful minister of hell! Thou hast put power over his mortal body. His soul thou canst not have, therefore be gone.
Sweet saint, for charity, be not so
Foul
pressed.
devil! For God's sake, hence, and trouble us not! For thou hast made the happy earth thy hell, filled it with cursing cries and deep exclaims. If thou delight to view thy heinous deeds, behold, this pattern of thy butcheries.
She points to the corpse.
Oh, gentlemen, see! See dead Henry's wounds open their congealed mouths and bleed afresh? Blush. Blush, thou lump of foul deformity. For 'tis thy present that exhales this blood from cold and empty veins where no blood dwells. Thy deeds, inhuman and unnatural, provokes this deluge most unnatural. O God, which this blood madest, revenge his death. O earth, which this blood drinks, revenge his death. Either heaven with lightning strike the murderer dead, or earth gape open wide and eat him quick, as thou dost swallow up this good king's blood, which his hell-governed arm hath butchered.
Lady, you know no rules of charity which renders good for bad, blessings for curses.
Villain, thou knowest nor law of God nor man. No beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity.
But I know none, and therefore am no beast.
Oh, wonderful, when devil tells the truth.
More wonderful, when angels are so angry. Vouchsafe divine perfection of a woman, fairer than tongue can name thee. Let me have some patient leisure to excuse myself. Say that I slew them not.
Then say they were not slain. But dead they are, and devilish slave by thee.
I did not kill your husband.
Why then he is alive.
Nay, he is dead. and slain by Edward's hands.
In thy foul throat thou liest. Queen Margaret saw thy murderous falchion smoking in his blood. The which thou one didst bend against her breast, but that thy brothers beat aside the point.
I was provoked by her slanderous tongue, that laid their guilt upon my guiltless shoulders.
Thou was provoked by thy bloody mind, that never dreamst on aught but butcheries. Didst thou not kill this king? He was gentle, mild, and virtuous.
The better for the King of heaven that hath him.
He is in heaven, where thou shalt never come.
Thank me that called to send him thither, for he was fitter for that place than earth.
And thou unfit for any place but hell.
Yes, one place else, if you will hear me name it.
Some dungeon?
Your bedchamber.
He'll rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
So will it, madam, till I lie with you.
I hope so.
I know so. But, gentle Lady Anne, to lead this keen encounter of our wits, and for something to slower method, is not the cause of the timeless deaths of these Plantagenets, Henry and Edward, as blameful as the executioner?
Thou wast the cause and most accursed effect.
Your beauty was the cause of that effect, your beauty, that did haunt me in my sleep, to undertake the death of all the world, so I might live 1 hour in your sweet bosom.
If I thought that, I tell thee homicide. These nails should rend that beauty from my cheeks.
These eyes could not endure that beauty's wrack. You should not blush if I stood by. As all the world is cheered by the sun, so I by that. And it is my day, my life.
Black night o'ershade thy day, and death thy life.
Curse not thyself, fair creature, thou art hope.
I would I were, to be revenged on thee.
The quarrel most unnatural, to be revenged on him that loveth thee.
It is a quarrel just and reasonable, to be revenged on him that killed my husband.
He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband. He lives that loves thee better than he could.
Name him.
Me.
He spits at him.
Why dost thou spit at me?
Out of my sight! Thou dost infect mine eyes.
Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine.
Would they were basilisks to strike thee dead.
I would they were, that I might die at once, for now they kill me with a living death. Those eyes of thine from mine have drawn salt tears. These tears, these eyes, which ne'er shed remorseful tear. No, when my father York and Edward wept to hear the piteous moan that Rutledge made, when black-faced Clifford shook his sword at him, nor when thy warlike father, like a child, told the sad story of my father's death, and 20 times made pause to sob and weep, my manly eyes did scorn an humble tear. And what these sorrows could not thence exhale, thy beauty hath, and made them blind with weeping. I never sued to friend nor enemy. My tongue could never learn sweet, smoothing word. But now thy beauty is proposed my fee. My proud heart sues, and prompts my tongue to speak.
She looks scornfully at him.
Teach not thy lip such scorn, for it was made for kissing, lady, not for such contempt. If thy revengeful heart cannot forgive, lo, here, I lend thee this sharp-pointed sword, which thou, if thou please, should hide in this true breast, and let the soul forth that adoreth thee. I lay it naked to the deadly stroke, and humbly beg the death upon my knee.
He kneels and lays his breast open. She offers at it with his sword.
Nay, do not pause, for I did kill King Henry. But was thy beauty that provoked me? Nay, now dispatch. 'Twas I that stabbed young Edward, but 'twas thy heavenly face that set me on.
She falls the sword.
Take up the sword again, or take up me.
Arise, dissembler. Though I wish thy death, I will not be thy executioner.
Then bid me kill myself, and I will do it. This hand, which for thy love did kill thy love, shall for thy love kill a far truer love. To both their deaths shall be an accessory.
Well, put up thy sword.
Say then, my peace is made.
That shalt thou know hereafter.
But shall I live in hope?
All men, I hope, live so.
Vouchsafe to wear this ring.
To take is not to give.
He places the ring on her hand.
Look how my ring encompasseth thy finger. Even so thy breast encloseth my heart, my poor heart. Wear both of them, for both of them are thine. And if thy poor devoted servant may but beg one favor at thy gracious hand, thou dost confirm his happiness forever.
What is it?
That it may please you, leave these sad designs to him that hath most cause to be a mourner, and presently repair to Crosby House, where, after I have solemnly interred at Chertsey Monastery this noble king, and wet his grave with my repentant tears, I will all expedient duty see you. For diverse unknown reasons, I beseech you, grant me this boon.
With all my heart. And much it joys me to see that you are become so penitent.
Bid me farewell.
'Tis more than you deserve. But, since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I've said farewell already.
Exit Anne. The bier is taken up.
Now, gentlemen, change course to Whitefriars. There, attend my coming.
Exit gentleman with the corpse.
Was ever a woman in this humor wooed? Was ever a woman in this humor won? Oh, I'll have her. But I will not keep her long. What, I that killed her husband and his father to take her in her heart's extremest hate, with curses in her mouth, tears in her eyes, the bleeding witness of my hatred by, having God, her conscience, and all these bars against me, and I, no friends to back my suit at all, but the plain devil and dissembling looks, and yet to win her, All the world to nothing! Ha! Has she already forgot that brave Prince Edward, her lord, whom I some 3 months since stabbed in my angry mood at Tewkesbury? And will she yet abase her eyes upon me, that cropped the golden prime of this sweet prince and made her widow to a woeful bed? On me, whose all that equals Edward's moiety, on me, that halts and misshapen am thus. Upon my life she finds, although I cannot myself, to be a marvelous proper man. Albeit charges for a looking glass, and entertain a score or two of tailors to study fashions to adorn my body. Since I am crept in favor with myself, I will maintain it at some little cost. But first I'll turn yon fellow in his grave, and then return lamenting to my love. Shine out, fair sun, till I have bought a glass, that I may see my shadow as I pass.
Exit Richard. Scene 3, the palace. Enter Queen Elizabeth, her brother, the Lord Rivers, and her son from a previous marriage, the Lord Marquess of Dorset.
Have patience, madam. There's no doubt His Majesty will soon recover his accustomed health.
If he were dead, what would betide on me?
No other harm but loss of such a lord.
The loss of such a lord includes all harms.
The heavens have blessed you with a goodly son to be your comforter when he is gone.
He is young, and his minority is put into the trust of Richard Gloucester, a man that loves not me nor none of you.
Is it concluded he shall be protector?
It is determined, not concluded yet, but so it must be if the king miscarry.
Enter Buckingham and Lord Stanley, Earl of Derby.
Ah, here comes the Lord of Buckingham and Derby.
Good time of day unto your royal grace.
Saw you the king today, my lord of Derby?
Stanley.
Here he is. Apologies. But now the Duke of Buckingham and I are come from visiting His Majesty.
What likelihood of his amendment, lords?
Madam, good hope. His grace speaks cheerfully.
God grant him health. Did you confer with him?
Aye, madam. He desires to make atonement between the Duke of Gloucester and your brother, and between them and my Lord Chamberlain, and sent to warn them to his royal presence.
Would all were well. But that will never be. I fear our happiness is at the height.
Enter Richard, Duke of Gloucester.
They do me wrong, and I will not endure it. Who is it that complains unto the king that I, forsooth, am stern and love them not? By holy Paul, they love his grace but lightly, that fill his ears with such dissentious rumors, because I cannot flatter and look fair, smile in men's faces, smooth, deceive, and cog, dark with French nods and apish courtesy. I must be held a rancorous enemy? Cannot a plain man live, and think no harm, but thus his simple truth must be abused with silken, sly, insinuating jacks?
To whom in all this presence speaks your grace?
A plague upon you all! His royal grace, whom God preserve better than you would wish, cannot be quiet, scarce a breathing while, but you must trouble him with lewd complaints.
Brother of Gloucester, you mistake the matter. The king, on his own royal disposition, and not provoked by any suitor else, aiming belike at your inferior hatred, that in your outward action shows itself against my children, brother, and myself, makes him to send that he may learn the ground.
I cannot tell. The world has grown so bad since every jack became a gentleman. There's many a gentle person made a jack.
Come, we know you're meeting Brother Gloucester. You envy my advancement and my friends. God grant we never may have need of you.
In the meantime, God grants that we have need of you. Our brother is imprisoned by your means, myself disgraced, and the nobility held in contempt, while great promotions are daily given to a noble, those that scarce some 2 days since were worth a noble.
By him that raised me to this careful height, from that contented hap which I enjoyed, I never did incense his majesty against the Duke of Clarence, but have been an earnest advocate to plead for him. My lord, you do me shameful injury falsely to draw me in these vile suspects.
You may deny that you were not the mean of my lord and Hastings' late imprisonment.
She may, my lord, for...
She may, Lord Rivers. Why? Who knows not so? She may do more, sir, than denying that. She may help you to many fair preferments, and then deny her aiding hand therein, and lay those honors on your high desert. She may, I marry, may she?
My lord of Gloucester, I have too long borne your blunt upbraidings and your bitter scoffs. By heaven, I will acquaint his majesty of those gross taunts that oft I have endured. I'd rather be a country servant maid than a great queen with this condition, to be so baited, scorned, and stormed at.
Enter old Queen Margaret, apart from the others.
Small joy have I in being England's queen.
And lessened be that small, God I beseech him. Thy honor, state, and seat is due to me.
What? Threat you me with killing of the king? Huh. Tell him, and spare not. Look, what I have said I will avouch to presence in the presence of the king. I dared venture to be set to the tower. 'Tis time to speak. My pains are quite forgot. For you were queen, I, or your husband king, to royalize his blood, I spent my own.
Aye, and much better blood than his or thine.
In old time, you and family of his were factious to the house of Lancaster. Let me put in your mouth, if you forget what you have been ere this, and what you are. Withal, what I have been, and what I am.
Murderous villain, and still thou art.
My lord of Gloucester, in those busy days which here you urge to prove us enemies, we followed then our lord, our sovereign king. Should we you, if you should be our king?
If I should be, I had rather be a peddler.
Oh, I can no longer hold me patient.
She steps forward.
Hear me, you wrangling pirates that fall out in sharing that which you have pilled from me. Which of you trembles not that looks on me? If not that I am a queen, you bow like subjects, yet that, by you deposed, you quake like rebels.
Foul wrinkled witch, what markst thou in my sight? Wert thou not banished on pain of death?
I was, but I do find more pain in banishment than death can yield me here by thy abode. Oh, a husband and a son thou owest to me. And thou, a kingdom, all of you allegiance. This sorrow that I have by right is yours, and all my pleasures you usurp are mine.
The curse my noble father laid on thee when thou didst crown his warlike brows with paper, and with thy scorns drewest rivers from his eyes, and then to dry them gavest the Duke a clout, steeped in the faultless blood of petty Rutland. His curses then, from bitterness of soul denounced against thee, are all fallen upon thee, and God, not we, hath plagued thy bloody deed.
Did York's dread curse prevail so much with heaven that Henry's death, my lovely Edward's death, their kingdom's loss, my woeful banishment should all but answer for that peevish brat? Can curses hear the clouds and enter heaven? Why then give way, dull clouds, to my quick curses. Though not by war or by surfeit die your king, Edward thy son, that is now Prince of Wales, for Edward our son, that was Prince of Wales, die in his youth by like untimely violence. Thyself a queen, for me that was a queen, outlive thy glory, like my wretched self. Long mayest thou live to wail thy children's death, and see another as I see thee now, decked in thy rights, as thou art stalled in mine, and after many lengthened hours of grief, die, neither mother, wife, nor England's queen. Rivers and Dorset, you were standers by, so wast thou, Lord Hastings, when my son was stabbed with bloody daggers. God, I pray him that none of you may live his natural age, but by some unlooked accident cut off.
Have done thy charm, thou hateful, withered hag.
Oh, and leave out thee. Stay, dog, for thou shalt hear me. If heaven have any grievous plague in store, exceeding those that I can wish upon thee, oh, let them keep it till thy sins be right, and then hurl down their indignation on thee, the troubler of these poor world's peace. The worm of conscience still gnaw thy soul. Thy friends suspect for traitors while thou livest, and take deep traitors in thy dearest friends. No sleep close up that deadly eye of thine, unless it be while some tormenting dream affrights thee with the hell of ugly devils. Thou elvish marked, aborted, rooting hog, thou that wast sealed in thy nativity, the slave of nature and the son of hell, thou slander of thy mother's heavy womb, thou loathed issue of thy father's loins, thou rag of honor, thou detested.
Margaret!
I call thee not.
I pray thee mercy then, for I did think that thou'dst called them all these bitter names.
Why, so I did. I looked for no reply. Oh, let me make the period to my curse.
'Tis done by me, and ends in Margaret!
That's how you breathe your curse against yourself.
Oh, poor painted queen, vain flourish in thy fortune. Why strewest thou sugar on that bottled spider, whose deadly web ensnareth thee about? Fool, fool, thou whetst a knife to kill thyself. The day will come that thou shalt wish for me to help thee curse this poisonous bunch-backed toad.
Have done, have done.
Oh, princely Buckingham, I'll kiss thy hand in sign of league and amity with thee. Now fair befall thee in thy noble house. Thy garments are not spotted with our blood, nor thou within the compass of my curse.
Nor no one here, for curses never pass the lips of those that breathe them in the air.
Oh, I will not think, but they ascend the sky, and there awake God's gentle sleeping peace. Oh, Buckingham, take heed of yonder dog. Look, when he fawns, he bites, and when he bites, his venom tooth will rankle to the death. Have not to do with him, beware of him. Sin, death, and hell have set their marks on him, and all their ministers attend on him. Oh, but remember this another day, when he shall split thy very heart with sorrow, and say, poor Margaret was a prophetess. Live each of you the subjects to his hate, and he to yours, and all of you to God's.
Exit Queen Margaret.
My hair doth stand on end to hear her curses.
I cannot blame her. By God's holy mother, she hath had too much wrong, and I repent my part thereof that I have done to her.
I never did her any to my knowledge.
Yet you have all vantage of her wrong. I was too hot to do somebody good that is too cold in thinking of it now. Marry us for Clarence. He is well repaid. He is franked up for fatting. He is franked up to fatting for his pains. God pardon them that are the cause thereof.
Virtuous and a Christian-like conclusion to pray for them that have done scathe to us.
So do I ever. Being well advised, for had I cursed now, I had cursed myself.
Enter CATESBY.
Madam, his majesty doth call for you, and for your grace, and yours, my gracious lords.
CATESBY, I come. Lords, will you go with me?
We wait upon your grace.
Exeunt all but Richard, Duke of Gloucester.
I do the wrong and first begin to brawl. The secret mischiefs that I set abroach, I lay unto the grievous charge of others. Clarence, who I indeed have cast in darkness, I do beweep to many simple gulls, namely to Derby, Hastings, Buckingham, and tell them 'tis the Queen and her allies that stir the king against the Duke my brother. Now they believe it, and withal wed me to be revenged on the rivers Dorset. Oh, but then I sigh, and with a piece of scripture tell them that God bids us do good for evil. Tell them that. And thus I clothe my naked villainy with odd old ends stolen forth from Holy Writ, and seem a saint, when most I play the devil.
Enter first and second murderer.
But soft, here come my executioners. Are you now going to dispatch this thing?
We are, my lord, and come to have the warrant that we may be admitted where he is.
Richard gives them a paper.
When you have done, repair to Crosby Place. But, sir, be sudden in the execution, withal obdurate. Do not hear him plead, for Clarence is well spoken, and perhaps may move your hearts to pity if you mark him.
Tut, my lord, we will not stand to prate. Talkers are no good doers. Be assured, we go to use our hands and not our tongues.
About your business straight. Go, go, dispatch.
We will, my noble lord.
Exeunt. Scene 4, London, the Tower. Enter Clarence.
Oh, I have passed a miserable night, so full of fearful dreams, of ugly sights, that, as I am a Christian, faithful man, I would not spend another such night, though 'twere to buy a world of happy days. Oh, so full of dismal terror was the time. Methoughts that I had broken from the tower and was embarked across to Burgundy, and in my company my brother Gloucester from my cabin tempted me to walk upon the hatches. Thence we looked towards England and sided up 1,000 heavy times during the wars of York and Lancaster that had befallen us. And as we along, we the giddy footings of the hatches, methought that Gloucester stumbled and in falling struck me, that ought to stay him overboard into the tumbling billows of the main. Oh, what dreadful noise of waters in my ears! What sights of ugly death within my eyes! Methoughts I saw 1,000 fearful wrecks, 1,000 men that fishes gnawed upon, all scattered in the bottom of the sea. I tried to yield, but still the envious blood stopped in my soul and would not let it forth to find the empty, vast and wandering air, but smothered it within my panting bulk. Ah, then began the tempest to my soul. I passed, methought, the melancholy flood with that sour ferryman which poets write of, unto the kingdom of perpetual night. The first that there did grant my stranger soul was my great father-in-law, renowned Warwick, who spake aloud, "What scourge for perjury can this dark monarch afford false Clarence?" And so he vanished. Then came wandering by a shadow like an angel with bright hair dabbled in blood, and he shrieked out aloud, "Clarence is come! False, bleeding, perjured Clarence, that stabbed me in the field by Tewkesbury, seize upon him furious, take him unto torment." Oh. With that, methought a legion of foul fiends environed me and howled into my ears such hideous cries that with the very noise I trembled awake, and for a season after could not believe but that I was in hell. Such terrible impression made my dream. Oh, God in heaven, I have done these things. Now give me evidence against my soul, for Edward's sake, and see how he requites me. Oh, God, if my deep prayers cannot appease thee, but thou wilt avenge on my misdeeds, yet execute thy wrath in me alone. Oh, spare my guiltless wife and my poor children. My soul is heavy, and I would fain sleep. Oh.
Clarence sleeps. Enter first and second murderer.
What? Shall I stab him as he sleeps?
What? Art thou afraid?
No, not to kill him, having the warrant, but to be damned for killing him, from the which no warrant can defend me.
I thought thou hadst been resolute.
Faith, some certain dregs of conscience are yet within me.
Remember our reward when the deed's done.
Zoons, he dies. I had forgot the reward.
Ah, where's thy conscience now?
Oh, in the Duke of Gloucester's purse.
What if it come to thee again?
Soft. He wakes.
Strike.
No, we'll reason with him.
In God's name, what art thou?
A man, as you are.
But not as I am, royal.
Nor you, as we are, loyal.
How darkly and how deadly dost thou speak. Your eyes do menace me. But why look so pale? Who sent you hither? Wherefore do thou come?
To
murder me?
Aye.
I scarcely have the heart to tell me so, and therefore cannot have the heart to do it. Wherein, my friends, have I offended you?
Offended us you have not, but the king.
Oh, I shall be reconciled to him again.
Never, my lord. Therefore, prepare to die.
Are you drawn forth among a world of men to slay the innocent? But what is my offense? Where is the evidence that thou dost accuse me? What lawful guest have given thy verdict up unto the frowning judge? Or who pronounced the bitter sentence of poor Clarence's death before I be convicted by course of law?
What we will do, we do upon command.
And he that hath commanded is our king.
Erroneous vassals! The great King of Kings hath in the table of his law commanded that thou shalt do no murder. Will you then spurn at his edict and fulfill a man's? Take heed, for he holds vengeance to hurl upon their heads that break his law.
And that same vengeance doth he hurl on thee for false forswearing and for murder too. Thou didst receive the sacrament to fight in quarrel of the house of Lancaster.
And, like a traitor to the name of God, didst thou break that vow, and with thy treacherous blade unrips the bowels of thy sovereign son,
whom thou wast sworn to cherish and defend.
How canst thou urge God's dreadful law to us when thou hast broke it in such dear degree?
Alas! For whose sake did I that ill deed? For Edward, for my brother, for his sake. He sends you not to murder me for this, for in that sin he is as deep as I. My brother's love, the devil, and my rage made me then a bloody minister to the young Plantagenet, that priestly novice.
Thy brother's love, our duty, and thy faults provoke us hither now to slaughter thee.
If you do love my brother, hate me not. I am his brother, and I love him well. If you are hired for meed, go back again, and I will send you to my brother Gloucester, who shall reward you better for my life than Edward will for tidings of my death.
Oh, you are deceived. Your brother Gloucester hates you.
Oh, no. He loves me, and he holds me dear. No, do not slander him, for he is kind.
Right, as snow in harvest. Come, you deceive yourself. 'Tis he that sends us to destroy you here.
It cannot be, for he bewept my fortune, and hugged me in his arms, and swore with sobs that he would labor my delivery.
Why, so he doth, when he delivers you from this earth's thraldom to the joys of heaven. Make peace with God, for you must die, my lord.
Have you that holy feeling in your souls to counsel me to make my peace with God? And are you yet to your own soul so blind that you will war with God by murdering me? Oh, sirs, consider. They that set you on to do this deed will hate you for the deed.
What should we do?
Relent and save your souls. Which of you, if you were a prince's son, being pent from liberty as I am now, if two such murderers of yourself came to you, would not entreat for life? Aye, you would beg, were you in my distress.
Relent? No, 'tis cowardly and womanish. Take that, and that.
He stabs him.
If all this will not do, I'll drown you in the Malmsey butt within.
Oh, a bloody deed and desperately dispatched. How fain like Pilate would I wash my hands of this most grievous murder. Take down the fee, and tell the Duke what I say, for I repent me that the Duke is slain.
Exit second murderer.
So do not I. Go, coward, as thou art. Well, I'll go hide the body in some hole till that the Duke give order for his burial. And when I have my mead, I will away, for this will out, and then I must away.
Exit first murderer with the body. Act 2, Scene 1. London, the palace. Flourish. Enter King Edward, sick. Queen Elizabeth, Dorset, Rivers, Hastings, and Buckingham.
I every day expect an embassage from my Redeemer to redeem me hence, and more in peace my soul shall pair to heaven. Since I have made my friends at peace on earth, Rivers and Hastings, take each other's hands, dissemble not your hatred, swear your love.
Hastings and Rivers take each other hands.
So prosper I as I swear perfect love.
And I as I love Hastings with my heart.
Adam, yourself is not exempt from this, nor you, son Dorset, Buckingham, nor you. You have been factious, one against the other. Wife, love Lord Hastings, let him kiss your hand.
Fair Hastings, I will never more remember our former hatred, so thrive I in mine.
Hastings kisses her hand.
Dorset, embrace him. Hastings, love Lord Marcus.
This interchange of love I here protest upon my part shall be inviolable.
And so swear I.
They embrace.
Now, princely Buckingham, seal thou this league with thy embracements to my wife's allies, and make me happy in your unity.
Whenever Buckingham doth turn his hate upon your grace, but with all duteous love doth cherish you and yours, God punish me with hate in those where I expect most love.
Queen Elizabeth and Buckingham embrace.
Ah, there wanteth now our brother Gloucester here to make the blessed period of this peace.
And in good time here comes the Duke.
Enter Richard, Duke of Gloucester, attended.
Good morrow to my sovereign king and queen, and princely peers, a happy time of day.
Happy indeed, as we have spent the day. Gloucester, we have done deeds of charity, made peace of enmity, fair love of hate between these swelling, wrong, insensate peers.
A blessed labor, my most sovereign lord, among this princely heap, if any here by false intelligence or wrong surmise hold me a foe, if I unwittingly or in my rage have what committed that is hardly borne by any in this presence, I desire to reconcile me to his friendly peace. His death to me to be at enmity, I hate it, and desire all good men's love. First, madam, I entreat a peace of you, which I will just with my duteous service. Of you, my noble cousin Buckingham, if ever any grudge was lodged between us, of you and you, Lord Rivers, and of Dorset, that all without desert have frowned on me. Dukes, earls, lords, gentlemen, indeed of all. I do not know what Englishman alive with whom my soul that any shot at odds, more than that the infant that is born tonight. I thank my God for my humility.
A holy day shall be kept hereafter. I would to God all stripes were well compounded. My sovereign lord, I do beseech your highness to take our brother Clarence to your grace.
Why, madam, have I offered love for this be so flouted in your royal presence? Who knows not that the gentle duke is dead?
They all start.
You do him injury to scorn his course.
Who knows not he is dead? Who knows he is? Is Clarence dead? The order was reversed.
But he, poor man, by your first order died. That a winged Mercury did bear some tardy cripple bear the countermand, that came too lag to see him buried.
Have I a tongue to do my brother's death? My brother killed no man. His fault was thought, and yet his punishment was bitter death. Who sued to me for him? Who, in my wrath, kneeled at my feet and bade me be advised? Who spoke of brotherhood? Who spoke of love? Who told me how the poor soul did forsake the mighty Warwick and did fight for me? And who told me in the field at Tewkesbury when Oxford had me down? He rescued me and said, "Dear brother, live and be a king." All this from my remembrance. Brutus wrath is sinfully plucked, and not a man of you had so much grace to put it in my mind. What? For my brother not a man would speak, nor I, ungracious, speak unto myself for him? Oh, poor soul. The proudest of you all has been beholding to him in his life, yet none of you would once beg for his life. Oh God, I fear that justice will take hold on me and you and mine and yours for this. Come, help me to my closet. Oh, poor Clarence.
Exeunt all but Richard and Buckingham.
This is the fruits of rashness. Marked you not how that guilty kindred of the Queen looked pale when they did hear of Clarence's death? Oh, they did urge it still unto the king. God will revenge it. Come, Lord, will you go to comfort Edward with our company?
We wait upon your grace.
Exeunt. Scene 2, the palace. Enter the old Duchess of York in mourning from one door. Then from another door enter Queen Elizabeth with her hair undone, Rivers and Dorset after her.
Shall hinder me to wail and weep, to try my fortune and torment myself. I'll join with black despair against my soul and to myself become an enemy.
Is this scene 3?
Act
2,
2,
scene 2.
I'm sorry.
35.
Oh, I apologize. What means this scene of rude impatience?
Edward, my lord, thy son, our king, is dead.
Cruel death hath snatched my husband from mine arms, and plucked 2 crutches from my feeble hands. Clarence and Edward, oh, what cause have I, thine being but a moiety of my moan, to overgo thy woes and drown thy cries? Alas for both mine, Edward and Clarence. What stays had I but they, and they are gone.
All springs reduce their currents to mine eyes, that I, being governed by the watery moon, may send forth plenteous tears to drown the world. No, for my husband and for my dear lord, Edward. What stay had I but Edward? He's gone. Was never widow had so dear a loss.
Madam, bethink you, like a careful mother, of the young prince your son. Send straight for him. Let him be crowned. In him your comfort lives. Drown desperate sorrow in dead Edward's grave, and plant your joys in living Edward's throne.
Enter Richard, Duke of Gloucester, Buckingham, and Hastings.
Sister, have comfort. All of us have cause to wail the dimming of our shining star.
but none can help our harms by hailing them.
You cloudy princes and heart-sorrowing peers that bear this heavy mutual load of moan, now cheer each other in each other's love. Though we have spent our harvest of this king, we are to reap the harvest of his son. The broken rancor of your high swollen hates, but lately splintered, knit and joined together, must gently be preserved, cherished and kept. Meseemeth good that, with some little train forthwith from Ludlow, young Prince befet hither to London, to be crowned our king.
Why, with some little train, my lord of Buckingham?
Marry, my lord, lest by a multitude the new healed wound of malice should break out, which would be so much the more dangerous, by how much the estate is green and yet ungoverned.
I hope the king made peace with all of us, and the compact is firm and true in me.
And so in me, and so I think in all. Yet since it is but green, it should be put to no apparent likelihood of breach, which haply by much company might be urged. Therefore I say with noble Buckingham, that it is meet so few should fetch the prince.
So say I.
Then be it so, and go we to determine who they shall be that straight shall post to Ludlow. Madam, and you, my sister, will go to give your censures in this business.
Exeunt all but Buckingham and Richard.
My lord, whomever journeys to the prince, for God's sakes, let us not to stay at home. For, by the way, I'll sort occasion, as indexed to the story we late talked of, to part the queen's proud kindred from the prince.
My other self, my council's consistory, my oracle, my prophet, my dear cousin, I, as a child, will go by thy direction toward Ludlow then, but will not stay behind.
Exeunt. Scene 3, London, the palace. Enter Queen Elizabeth, her youngest son with King Edward, young York, and the old Duchess of York.
Last night I hear they lay at Stony Stratford, and at Northampton they do rest tonight. Tomorrow or next day they will be here.
I long with all my heart to see the prince. I hope he is much grown since last I saw him.
Aye, mother, but I would not have it so.
I hear no. They say my son of York has almost overtaken him in his growth.
Sorry, aye, mother, but I would not have it so.
Why, my good cousin, it is good to grow.
Grandam, one night as we did sit at supper, my uncle Rivers talked how I did grow more than my brother. I, quoth my uncle Gloucester, small herbs have grace, great weeds do grow apace. And since methinks I would not grow so fast, because sweet flowers are slow, and weeds make haste.
Good faith, good faith. This saying did not hold in him that did object the same to thee. He was the wretchedest thing when he was young, so long a-growing and so leisurely, that if his rule were true, he should be gracious.
And so no doubt he is, my gracious madam.
I hope he is, but yet let mothers doubt.
Now by my troth, if I had been remembered, I could have given my uncle's grace a flout to touch his growth nearer than he touched mine.
How, my young York? I prithee let me hear it.
Marry, they say my uncle grew so fast that he could gnaw a crust at 2 hours old. 'Twas full 2 years ere I could get a tooth. Grandam, this would have been a biting jest.
Careless boy. Go to, you're too shrewd.
Good madam, be not angry with the child.
Pitchers have ears.
Enter a messenger.
Here comes a messenger. What news?
Such news, my lord, as grieves me to report.
How doth the prince?
Well, madam, and in health.
What is thy news?
Lord Rivers sent to Pomfret as prisoner.
Who hath committed him?
The mighty Dukes, Gloucester and Buckingham.
For what offense?
The sum of all I can, I have disclosed. Why, and for what, Lord Rivers was committed is all unknown to me, my gracious lord.
And me, I see the ruin of my house. The tiger now has seized a gentle hind. Insulting tyranny begins to jet upon the innocent and aweless throne. Welcome, destruction, blood, and massacre. I see, as in a map, the end of all.
Accursed and unquiet wrangling days. How many of you have mine eyes beheld? My husband lost his life to get the crown. And often up and down my sons were tossed for me to joy and weep their gain and loss. And being seated and domestic broils, clean overbrown themselves the conqueror, make war upon themselves, brother to brother, blood to blood, self against self. Oh, preposterous and frantic outrage, end thy damned spleen, or let me die to look on earth no more.
Come, come, my boy, we will to sanctuary. Madam, farewell.
Stay, I will go with you.
You have no cause. My gracious lady, we must go. Farewell.
Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 1. London, a street. The trumpets sound. Enter Prince Edward, Richard, Duke of Gloucester, Buckingham, the Bishop of Ely, Catesby, and others.
Welcome, sweet prince, to London, to your chamber.
Welcome, dear cousin, my thoughts sovereign. The weary way hath made you melancholy.
No, uncle, but our crosses on the way have made it tedious, wearisome, and heavy. I want more uncles here to welcome me.
Oh, sweet prince, the untainted virtue of your years hath not yet dived into the world's deceit. Those uncles which you want were dangerous. Your grace attended to their sugared words, but look not on the poison of their hearts. God keep you from them, and from such false friends.
Oh, God, keep me from false friends, but they were none. I thought my mother and my brother York would long ere this have met us on the way. Fie, what a slug is Hastings that he comes not to tell us whether they will come or no.
Enter Hastings.
And in good time, here comes the sweating lord.
Welcome, my lord. What, will our mother come?
On what occasion, God he knows, not I. The queen your mother and your brother York have taken sanctuary. The tender prince would fain have come with me to meet your grace, but by his mother was perforce withheld.
Fie, what an indirect and peevish course is this of hers. Bishop of Ely, will your grace persuade the queen to send the Duke of York unto his princely brother presently? If she deny, Lord Hastings, go with him, and from her jealous arms pluck him perforce.
My lord of Buckingham, if my weak oratory can from his mother win the Duke of York, anon expect him here. But if she do be obdurate to mild entreaties, God in heaven forbid we should infringe the holy privilege of blessed sanctuary. Not for all this land would I be guilty of so deep a sin.
You break not sanctuary in seizing him. The benefit thereof is always granted to those whose dealings have deserved the place, and those who have the wit to claim the place. This prince hath neither claimed it nor deserved it, and therefore, in mine opinion, cannot have it. Then, taking him from thence that is not there, you break no privilege nor daughter there. Oft have I heard of sanctuary men, but sanctuary children? Never till now.
My lord, you shall o'errule my mind for once. Come on, Lord Hastings. Will you go with me?
I go, my lord.
Good lords, make all the speedy haste you may.
Exit Bishop of Ely and Hastings.
Say, Uncle Gloucester, if our brother come, where shall we sojourn till our coronation?
Where it seems best unto your royal self, if I may counsel you some day or two. Your Highness shall repose at the Tower. Then, where you please, and shall be thought most fit for your best health and recreation.
I do not like the Tower of any place.
So wise, so young, they say, do never live long.
What say you, uncle?
Re-enter Hastings and Bishop of Ely with young York.
And now, in good time, here comes the Duke of York.
Richard of York, how fares our loving brother?
Well, my dread lord, so must I call you now.
Aye, brother, to our grief as it is yours. Too late he died that might have kept that time, by which his death hath lost much majesty.
How fares our cousin, noble lord of York?
I thank you, gentle uncle. Oh, my lord, you said that idle weeds are fast in growth. The prince, my brother, hath outgrown me far.
He hath, my lord.
And therefore is he idle?
Oh, my fair cousin, I must not say so.
Then he is more beholden to you than I.
Well, he may command me as my sovereign, but you have power in me as a kinsman.
Well, I pray you, uncle, give me this dagger.
A dagger, little cousin, with all my heart. A greater gift than I'll give my cousin.
A greater gift? Oh, that's the sword to it.
Aye, gentle cousin, were it light enough.
Oh, and I see you will part but with light gifts. And weightier things, say a beggar nay.
Oh, it is too heavy for your grace to wear.
I wear it lightly, were it heavier.
What? Do you have my weapon, little lord?
I would, that I might thank you as you call me.
How?
Little.
My lord, will still be cross in talk. Uncle, your grace knows how to bear with him.
Oh, you mean to bear me, not to bear with me. Uncle, brother mocks both you and me. Because I am little, like an ape, he thinks that you should bear me on your shoulders.
With what a sharp provided witty reasons. To mitigate the scorn he gives his uncle, he prettily and aptly taunts himself. So cunning and so young is wonderful.
My lord, will please you pass along. Myself and my good cousin Buckingham will to your mother to entreat her to meet you at the tower and welcome you.
What? Will you go into the tower, my lord?
My lord protector needs will have it so.
I shall not sleep in quiet at the tower.
Why? What should you fear?
Marry my uncle Clarence's angry ghost. My grandam told me he was murdered there.
I fear no uncle's dead.
Nor none that live, I hope.
Oh, I live, I hope, I need not fear. But come, my lord, with a heavy heart thinking on them, go I unto the tower.
A Senate. Exit Prince Edward, young York, and Hastings. Richard, Buckingham, and Catesby remain.
Think you, my lord, this little prating York was not incensed by his subtle mother to taunt and scorn you thus appropriately?
No, no doubt, no doubt. No, 'tis a parlous boy, bold, quick, ingenious, forward, capable. He is all the mother's from top to toe.
Well, let them rest. Come hither, Catesby. Thou art sworn as deeply to effect what we intend as closely to conceal what we impart. Thou knowest our reasons, urged upon the way. What thinkest thou? Is it not an easy matter to make William Lord Hastings of our mind for the installment of this noble duke in the seat royal of this famous isle?
He, for his father's sake, so loves the prince that he will not be won to aught against him.
What thinkest thou then of Stanley? Will not he?
He will do all in all, as Hastings doth.
Ah, well then, no more but this. Go, gentle Catesby, and, as it were far off, sound thy Lord Hastings, how he doth stand affected to our purpose, and summon him tomorrow to the tower, to sit about the coronation. If thou dost find him tractable to us, encourage him, and tell him all our reasons. If he be leaden, icy, cold, unwilling, be thou so too, and so break off the talk, and give us notice of his inclination. For we tomorrow hold divided councils, wherein thyself shall highly be employed. Good Catesby, go effect this business soundly.
My good lords both, all the heed I can.
Shall we hear from you, Catesby, ere we sleep?
You shall, my lord.
At Crosby House, there shall you find us both.
Exit Catesby.
Now, my lord, what shall we do if we perceive Lord Hastings will not yield to our complots?
Chop off his head. Something we will determine. And look, when I am king, claim thou of me the Earl of Hereford, and all the movables whereof the king my brother was possessed.
I'll claim that promise at your grace's hand.
And look to have it yielded with all kindness. Come, let us sup betimes, that afterwards we may digest our complots in some form.
Exeunt. Scene 2. Before Lord Hastings' house. Enter a messenger to the door of Hastings.
My lord! My lord!
Who knocks?
One from the Lord Stanley.
What is the clock?
Upon the stroke of 4.
Enter Hastings.
Cannot my Lord Stanley sleep these tedious nights?
So it appears by that I have to say. First, he commends him to your noble self, then certifies your lordship that this night he dreamt the boar had raised off his helm. Besides, he says, there are 2 councils kept, and that may be determined at the one which may make you and him to rue at the other. Therefore he sends to know your lordship's pleasure, if you will presently take horse with him, and with all speed post with him toward the north, to shun the danger that his soul divines.
Go, fellow, go. Return unto thy lord. Bid him not fear the separated council. His honor and myself are at the one, and at the other is my good friend Catesby, where nothing can proceed that touches us, whereof I shall not have intelligence. Tell him his fears are shallow, without instance, and for his dreams, wonder he's so simple to trust the mockery of unquiet slumbers. Defy the boar before the boar pursueth us, were to incense the boar to follow us, and make pursuit where he did mean no chase. So, bid thy master rise and come to me, and we will both together to the tower, where he shall see the boar will use us kindly.
I'll go, my lord, and tell him what you say.
Exit messenger. Enter Catesby.
Many good morrows to my noble lord.
Good morrow, Catesby. You are early stirring. What news? What news in this our tottering state?
It is a reeling world indeed, my lord, and I believe will never stand upright till Richard wear the garland of the realm.
How, wear the garland? Dost thou mean the crown?
Aye, my good lord.
I'll have this crown of mine cut from my shoulders before I'll see the crown so foul misplaced. But canst thou guess that he doth aim at it?
Aye, on my life, and hopes to find you forward upon his party for the gain thereof. And thereupon he sends you this good news, that this same very day your enemies, the kindred of the queen, must die at Pomfret.
Indeed, I am no mourner for that news, because they have been still my adversaries. But that I'll give my voice on Richard's side to bar my master's heirs in true descent, God knows I will not do it to the death.
God keep your lordship in that gracious mind.
But I shall laugh at this a 12-month hence, that they which brought me and my master's hate, I live to look upon their tragedy. Well, Catesby, ere a fortnight make me older, I'll send some packing that yet think not on it.
'Tis a vile thing to die, my gracious lord, when men are unprepared and look not for it.
Oh, monstrous, monstrous! And so falls it out with some men else that think themselves as safe as thou and I, who, as thou knowest, are dear to princely Richard and to Buckingham.
The princes both make high account of you, for they account his head upon the bridge.
I know they do, and I have well deserved it.
Enter Lord Stanley.
Come on, where is your boar spear, man? Fear you the boar and go so unprovided?
My lord, good morrow. Good morrow, Catesby. You may jest on, but by the holy rood, I do not like these several counsels,
My lord, I hold my life as dear as you do yours, and never in my days, I do protest, was it so precious to me as 'tis now. Think you but that I know our state secure, I would be so triumphant as I am?
The lord at Pomfret, when he rode from London, was jocund and supposed his state was sure, and he indeed had no cause to mistrust. But yet you see how soon the day o'ercasts. The sudden stab of rancor I misdoubt. But pray God, I say, I prove a needless coward. What, shall we toward the tower? The day is spent.
Come, have with you. What you want, my lord? Today the lords you talked of are beheaded.
They, for their truth, might better wear their heads than some that have accused them wear their hats. But come, my lord, let's away.
Exeunt. Scene 3, Pomfret Castle. Enter Sir Richard Ratcliffe with halberds carrying the noble rivers to death at Pomfret.
Sir Richard Radcliffe, let me tell thee this. Today shalt thou behold a subject die for truth, for duty, and for loyalty.
If that's the limit of your life is out.
Now Margaret's curse has fallen upon our heads, for standing by when Richard stabbed her son. Then she cursed Richard, then cursed she Buckingham, then cursed she Hastings. Oh, remember, God, to hear her prayer for them as now for us. And for my sister and her princely sons, be satisfied, dear God, with our true blood, which, as thou knowest, unjustly must be spilt.
Make haste. The hour of death is expiate.
Exeunt. Scene 4, the Tower of London. Enter Buckingham, Stanley, Hastings, the Bishop of Ely, and Ratcliffe with others.
Now, noble peers, the cause why we are met is to determine of the coronation. In God's name, speak. When is the royal day?
Tomorrow is, I judge, a happy day.
Who knows the Lord Protector's mind herein? Who is most inward with the noble Duke?
Your Grace, we think, should soonest know his mind.
We know each other's faces, for our hearts. He knows no more of mine than I of yours, or I of his, my lord, than you of mine, Lord Hastings. You and he are near in love.
I thank his grace. I know he loves me well. But for his purpose in the coronation, I have not sounded him, nor he delivered his gracious pleasure any way therein. But you, my honorable lords, may name the time, and in the Duke's behalf I'll give my voice, which I presume he'll take in gentle part.
Enter Richard, Duke of Gloucester.
In happy time, here comes the Duke himself.
My noble lords and cousins all, good morrow. I have been a long sleeper, but I trust my absence doth neglect no great design, which by my presence might have been concluded.
Had you not come upon your cue, my lord, William Lord Hastings had pronounced your part. I mean your voice for crowning of the king.
No, then my Lord Hastings, no man might be bolder. His lordship knows me well and loves me. My Lord of Ely, when I was last in Holborn, I saw good strawberries in your garden there. I do beseech you, send for some of them.
Marry and will, my lord, with all my heart.
Exit Bishop of Ely.
A cousin of Buckingham, a word with you.
They move aside.
Catesby hath sounded Hastings in our business, and finds the testy gentleman so hot that he will lose his head ere give consent. His master's child, as worshipfully he terms it, shall lose the royalty of England's throne.
Withdraw yourself a while. I'll go with you.
Exit Richard and Buckingham.
We have not yet set down this day of triumph. Tomorrow, in my judgment, is too sudden, for I myself am not so well provided as else I would be were the day prolonged.
Re-enter the Bishop of Ely.
Where is my lord, the Duke of Gloucester? I have sent for these strawberries.
His grace looks cheerfully and smooth this morning. There's some conceit or other likes him well when that he bids good morrow with such spirit. I think there's never a man in Christendom that can lesser hide his love or hate than he. By his face straight shall you know his heart.
Oh, what of his heart perceive you in his face by any livelihood he showed today?
Marry, that with no man here he is offended. For were he had shown it in his...
Re-enter Richard and Buckingham.
I pray you all tell me what they deserve that do conspire my death with devilish plots of damned witchcraft, and that have prevailed upon my body with their hellish charms.
The tender love I bear your grace, my lord, makes me most forward in this princely presence to doom the offenders, whosoever they be. I say, my lord, they have deserved death.
Then be your eyes the witness of their evil.
He shows his arm.
Look, look how I am bewitched. Behold mine arm is like a blasted sapling withered up. And this is Edward's wife, that monstrous witch, consorted with that harlot strumpet sure, that by their witchcraft thus have marked me.
If they have done this deed, my noble lord...
If thou protector of this damned strumpet talkst thou to me of the imps, thou art a traitor. Off with his head. Ratcliffe looks at it, be it done. The rest that love me, rise and follow me.
Exeunt all but Ratcliffe with Hastings.
Woe, woe for England. Oh, not a whit for me, for I, too fond, might have prevented this. Stanley did dream, the boar did raise his helm, and I did scorn it and disdain to fly. 3 times today my footcloth horse did stumble, and started when he looked upon the tower, slow to bear me to the slaughterhouse. Oh, Margaret, Margaret, now thy heavy curse is lighted on poor Hastings' wretched head.
Come dispatch, he longs to see your head.
Oh, bloody Richard, miserable England, I prophesy the fearful time to thee that ever wretched age had looked upon. Come, lead me to the block. Bear him my head. They smile at me, who shortly shall be dead.
Exeunt. Scene 5, the Tower Walls. Enter Richard and Buckingham in rotten armor, marvelous, ill-favored.
Cousin, canst thou quake and change thy color, murder thy breath in middle of a word, and then again begin and stop again, as if were distraught and mad with terror?
Tut, I can counterfeit the deep Tredean. Sad looks at my surface, like enforced smiles, are, and both are ready in their offices at any time to grace my stratagems. But what, is Catesby gone?
He is. And see, he brings the mayor along.
Enter the mayor and Catesby.
Lord Mayor.
Look to the drawbridge there.
Hark, a drum.
Catesby, o'erlook the walls.
Exit Catesby.
Lord Mayor, the reason we have sent for you.
Look back, defend thee, hear enemy!
God in our innocence defend and guard us.
Enter Ratcliffe with Hastings' head.
Patient, it is our loyal friend, Ratcliffe.
Here is the head of the ignoble traitor, the dangerous and unsuspected Hastings.
Exit Ratcliffe.
So dear, I loved the man that I must weep. I took him for the plainest harmless creature that breathed upon the earth a Christian. So smooth he daubed his vice with show of virtue, he lived from all attainder of suspects.
Would you imagine, or almost believe, were it not that by great preservation we live to tell it, that the subtle traitor this day had plotted in the council house to murder me and my good lord of Gloucester?
Had he done so?
What, think you we are Turks or infidels, or that we would against the form of law proceed thus rashly in the villain's death, but that the extreme peril of our case, the peace of England, and our person's safety enforced us to this execution?
Now fair befall you. He deserved his death, and your good graces both have well proceeded to warn false traitors from like attempts.
Yet had we not determined he should die until your lordship came to see his end, which now the loving haste of these our friends, something against our meanings, have prevented. Because, my lord, I would have had you heard the traitor speak and timorously confess the manner and the purpose of his treasons, that you might well have signified the same unto the citizens, who haply may misconster us in him, and well his death.
But, my good lord, your grace's words shall serve as well as I had seen and heard him speak. And do not doubt, right noble princes both, but I'll acquaint our duteous citizens with all your just proceedings in this case.
And to that end, we wished your lordship here to avoid the censures of the carping world.
Which, since you come too late of our intent, yet witness what you hear we did intend, and so, my good Lord Mayor, we bid farewell.
Exit Mayor.
Go after, cousin Buckingham. The mayor towards Guildhall hies him in all post. There, at your meetest vantage of the time, infer the bastardy of Edward's children. Moreover, urge his hateful luxury and bestial appetite in change of lust, which stretched unto the servants, daughters, wives, even where his raging eye or savage heart without control lusted to make a prey. Tell them what that my mother went with child of that insatiate Edward noble York, my princely father then had wars in France, and by true computation of the time found that the issue was not his begot, which well appeared in his lineaments, being nothing like the noble Duke my father, yet touched despairingly as to afar off. Because, my lord, do you know my mother lives? If you thrive well, bring them to Baynard's castle, where you shall find me well accompanied with reverend fathers and well-learned bishops.
I go, and towards 3 or 4 o'clock look for the news that the Guildhall affords.
Exit Buckingham.
Now will I go take some privy order to draw the brats of Clarence out of sight, and to give order that no manner of person have any time recourse unto the princes.
Exit Richard. Scene 4 later. Baynard's castle. Enter Richard and Buckingham at several doors.
How now? How now? What say the citizens?
Now, by the Holy Mother of our Lord, the citizens are mum. Say not a word.
Touched you the bastardy of Edward's children?
I did, with his contract with Lady Lucy and his contract by deputy in France, the unsatiate greediness of his desire and his enforcement of the city wives, his tyranny for trifles, his own bastardy, his being got, his father then in France, and his resemblance being not like the Duke. Withal, I did infer your lineaments, being the right idea of your father, both in your form and nobleness of mind. Laid open all your victories in Scotland, your discipline in war, wisdom and peace, your bounty, virtue, fair utility. He left nothing fitting for your purpose, touched or slightly handled in discourse. And when mine oratory drew toward end, I bid them that did love their country good cry, God save Richard, England's royal king.
And did they so?
No. So, God help me, they spake not a word.
What tongueless blots are they? Would they not speak? Will not the mayor then and his brethren come?
The mayor is here at hand, intends some fear. Be not you spoke with him but by mighty suit, and look you get a prayer book in your hand, and stand between 2 churchmen, good my lord. For on that ground I'll make a holy descant, and not be easily won to our requests, play the maid's part, still answer nay, and take it.
I go, and if you plead as well for them as I can say nay to thee for myself, no doubt we bring it to a happy issue.
Go, go, up to the leads. The Lord Mayor knocks.
Exit Richard. Enter the mayor and citizens.
Welcome, my lord. I dance attendance here. I think the Duke will not be spoke withal.
Enter CATESBY.
Now, Catesby, what says your lord to my request?
He doth entreat your grace, my noble lord, to visit him tomorrow or next day. He is within, with 2 right reverend fathers, divinely bent to meditation, and in no worldly suits would he be moved to draw him from his holy exercise.
Return, good Catesby, to the gracious Duke. Tell him myself, the mayor, and aldermen, in deep designs, in matter of great moment, are come to have some conference with his grace.
I'll signify so much unto him straight.
Exit CATESBY.
Aha, ha, my lord, this prince is not an Edward. He is not lolling on a lewd love bed, but on his knees at meditation, not dallying with a brace of courtesans, but meditating with 2 deep divines, not sleeping to engross his idle body, but praying to enrich his watchful soul. Happy were England would this virtuous prince take on his grace the sovereignty thereof. But sure I fear we shall not win him to it.
Marry, God defend his grace, should say us nay.
I fear he will.
Enter Richard aloft between 2 bishops with CATESBY.
See where his grace stands, between 2 clergymen.
Famous Plantagenet, most gracious prince, lend favorable ear to our requests, and pardon us the interruption of thy devotion and right Christian zeal.
My lord, there needs no such apology. I do beseech your grace to pardon me, who, in earnest in the service of my God, deferred the visitation of my friends. But leaving this, what is your grace's pleasure? I suspect I have done some offense that seems disgracious in the city's eye, and that you have come to reprehend my ignorance.
You have, my lord. Would it might please your grace on our entreaties to amend your fault?
Else wherefore breathe I in a Christian land?
No then, it is your fault that you reign, the supreme seat, the throne majestical, the sceptred office of your ancestors, your state of fortune, and your due of birth, the lineal glory of your royal house, to the corruption of a blemished stock. The noble isle doth want her proper limbs, her face defaced with scars of infamy, her royal stock graft with ignoble plants, and almost shouldered in the swallowing gulf of dark forgetfulness and deep oblivion. Which to recure, we heartily solicit your gracious self to take on you the charge and kingly government of this your land, not as protector, steward, substitute, or lowly factor of another's gain, but as successfully, from blood to blood, your right of birth, your empery, your own. This consorted with the citizens, your very worshipful and loving friends, and by their vehement instigation, in this just cause come I to move your grace.
Your love deserves my thanks, but my desert unmeritable shuns your high request. First, if all obstacles were cut away, and that path were even to the crown as the right revenue and due of birth, yet so much is my poverty of spirit, so mighty and so many my defects, that I would rather hide me from my greatness, being a bark to brook no mighty sea, that him covet to be hid, and in the vapor of my glory smothered. But God be thanked, there is no need of me, and much I need to help you with their need. The royal tree hath left us royal fruit, which, mellowed by the stealing hours of time, will well become the seat of majesty, and make no doubt us happy by his reign.
On him I lay that which you would lay on me, the right and fortune of his happy stars, which God defend that I should bring from him.
Oh, my lord, this argues conscience in your grace, but the respects thereof are nice and trivial, all circumstances well considered. You say that Edward is your brother's son, so say we too, but not by Edward's wife. For first was he contracted to Lady Lucy, your mother lives, a witness to this vow, and afterward by substitute betrothed to Bona, sister of the King of France. These both put off, a poor petitioner, a care-crazed mother to a many sons, a beauty waning, and distressed widow, even in the afternoon of her best days, made prize and purchase of his wanton eye, seduced the pitch and height of his degree to base declension and loathe bigamy. By her in his unlawful bed he got this Edward, whom our manners call the prince. More bitterly could I expostulate, save that for reverence to some alive, I give a sparing limit to my tongue. Then, good my lord, take to your royal self this proffered benefit of dignity, if not to bless us and the Lord withal, yet to draw forth your noble ancestry from the corruption of abusing times unto a lineal, true, derived course.
Adieu, good my lord. Your citizens entreat you.
Refuse not, mighty lord, this proffered love.
Oh, make them joyful. Grant their lawful suit. If you deny them, all the land will rue it.
Alas, why would you heap this care on me? I am unfit for state and majesty. I do beseech you, take it not amiss. I cannot, nor I will not yield to you.
Oh, if you refuse it, as in love and zeal, loath to dispose the child, my brother's son, as well we know your tenderness of heart and gentle, kind, effeminate remorse, which we have noted in you to your kindred, and equally, indeed, to all estates. Yet, no, where you accept our suit or no, your brother's son shall never reign our king, but we will plant some other in the throne to the disgrace and downfall of your house. And in this resolution here we leave you. Come, good citizens, come, citizens. Zoons, I'll entreat no more.
Buckingham and others start to exit.
Oh, do not swear, my Lord Buckingham. Will you enforce me to a world of cares? Turn back again. I am not made of stones, but penetrable to your kind entreaties, albeit against my conscience and my cousin of Buckingham and sage, grave men. Since you will buckle fortune upon my back to bear her burden where I will or no, I must have patience to endure the load. But if black scandal or foul-faced reproach attend the sequel of your imposition, your mere enforcements shall acquittance of me from all the impure blots and stains thereof. For God doth know, and you may partly see, how far I am from the desire of this.
God bless your grace. We see it and will say it.
In saying so, you shall but say the truth.
Then I salute you with this royal title. Long live Richard, England's worthy king.
Amen.
Tomorrow, may it please you to be crowned.
Even when you will please, for you will have it so.
Tomorrow, then, we will attend your grace, and so most joyfully we take our leave.
Come, let us do our holy work again. Farewell, my cousins. Farewell, gentle friends.
Exeunt, Act 4, Scene 1, before the Tower. Enter Queen Elizabeth, with the Duchess of York and Dorset at one door, and Duchess of Gloucester at another door.
Daughter, well met.
God give your graces both a happy and joyful time of day.
As much to you, good sister. Whither away?
No farther than the tower, and as I guess, upon the like devotion as yourselves, to congratulate the gentle princess there.
And sister, thanks. We'll enter all together.
Enter Brackenbury.
And in good time, here the lieutenant comes. Master Lieutenant, pray you by your leave, how did the prince and my young son of New York?
Right well, dear madam. By your patience, I may not suffer you visit them. The king hath strictly charged the contrary.
The king? Who's that?
I mean, Lord Protector.
The Lord protect him from that kingly title. Hath he set bounds between their love and me? I am their mother. Who shall bar me from them?
I am their father's mother. I will see them.
Their aunt I am in law, in love their mother. Then bring me to their sights. I'll bear thy blame, and take thy office from thee on my peril.
No, madam, no, I may not leave it so. I am bound by oath, and therefore pardon me.
Exit Brackenbury, enter Stanley.
Let me but meet you ladies 1 hour hence, and I'll salute your Grace of York as mother, and reverend looker-on of 2 fair queens. Come, madam, you must straight to Westminster, there to be crowned Richard's royal queen.
Oh, cut my lace asunder. My pent heart may have some scope to beat, or else I swoon with this dead-killing news.
Despiteful tidings! Oh, unpleasing news!
Be of good cheer, mother. How fares your grace?
Oh, Dorset, speak not to me. Get thee gone. Death and destruction dogs thee at thy heels. Thy mother's name is ominous to children. If thou wilt outstrip death, go, cross the seas and live with Richmond, from the reach of hell. Go, hide thee from the slaughterhouse, lest thou increase the number of the dead and make me die the thrall of Margaret's curse, nor mother, wife, nor England's counted queen.
Full of wise care is this your counsel, madam. Take all the swift advantage of the hours. You shall have letters from me to my son in your behalf to meet you on the way. Be not taken tardy by unwise delay. Come, madam, come. I in all haste was sent.
And I with all unwillingness will go. Oh, when he that is my husband now came to me, as I followed Henry's course, when scarce the blood was well washed from his hands. Oh, when I say, I looked on Richard's face, this was my wish. Be thou, thought I, accursed for making me so young, so old a widow. And when thou weddest, let sorrow haunt thy bed. And be thy wife, if any be so mad, more miserable by the life of me than thou hast made me by my dear lord's death. Though ere this curse could leave my parted lips, within so small a time my woman heart grossly grew captive to his honey words, and proved the subject of my own soul's curse, which hitherto hath held my eyes from rest, for never yet 1 hour in his bed did I enjoy the golden dew of sleep, but with his timorous dreams was still awaked. Besides, he hates me for my father Warwick, and will no doubt shortly be rid of me.
For heart, adieu.
Adieu, poor soul that takest thy leave of it.
Go thou to Richmond, and good fortune guide thee. Go thou to Richard, and good angels tend thee. Go thou to sanctuary, and good thoughts possess thee. I to my grave, where peace and rest lie with me. 80-odd years of sorrow have I seen, and each hour's joy racked with a week of teen.
Stay. You'll look back with me unto the tower. Pity you ancient stones, those tender babes who envy at the mirror within your walls. Rough cradle for such little pretty ones. Rude, ragged nurse, old soul, playfellow for tender princes. Is my baby's well? So foolish sorrows bid your stones farewell.
Exeunt. Scene 2, London, the Palace. Sound the Senate. Enter Richard in pomp, now crowned King Richard III. Buckingham, Catesby, and others, including a page.
And all apart, cousin of Buckingham.
The others move aside.
My gracious sovereign.
Give me thy hand.
Here he ascendeth the throne. Sound trumpets.
Thus high, by thy advice and thy assistance, is King Richard seated. But shall we wear these glories for a day, or shall they last and we rejoice in them? Why, Buckingham, I say I would be king.
Why, so you are, my thrice renowned lord.
Ha! Am I king? 'Tis so. But Edward lives.
True, noble prince.
No bitter consequence that Edward still should live, true noble prince. Cousin, thou wast not wont to be so dull. Shall I be plain? I wish the bastard's dead, and I would have it suddenly performed. What sayest thou now? Speak suddenly, be brief.
Give me some little breath, some pause, dear lord, before I positively speak in this. I will resolve you herein presently.
Exit Buckingham.
High-reaching Buckingham grows circumspect. Boy!
My lord!
Knowest thou not any whom corrupting gold will tempt unto a close exploit of death?
I know a discontented gentleman whose humble means match not his haughty spirit. Gold were as good as 20 orders, and will no doubt tempt him to anything.
Go, call him hither, boy.
Exit page.
The deep revolving witty Buckingham no more shall be the neighbor to my counsels. Hath he so long held out with me untired, and stops he now for breath? Oh, be it so.
Enter Stanley.
Now, Lord Stanley, what's the news?
No, my loving lord. The Marquis Dorset, as I hear, is fled to Richmond, in the parts where he abides.
He walks aside.
Come hither, Catesby. Rumor it abroad that Anne, my wife, is very grievous sick. I will take order for keeping close, for her keeping close. Inquire me out some mean poor gentleman whom I will marry straight to Clarence's daughter about it. For it stands me much upon to stop all hopes whose growth may damage me.
Exit Catesby.
I must be married to my brother's daughter, or else my kingdom stands on brittle glass. Murder her brothers, and then marry her.
Re-enter page with Tyrrell.
James Tyrrell, and your most obedient servant.
Art thou indeed?
Prove me, my gracious lord.
Dost thou resolve kill a friend of mine?
Please you, but I had rather kill 2 enemies.
Why then thou hast it. 2 deep enemies, foes to my rest, and my sweet sleep's disturbers are those that I would have thee deal upon. Tyrrell, I mean those bastards in the tower.
Let me have open means to come to them and soon I'll rid you from the fear of them.
Hark, come hither, Tyrrel, and lend thine ear.
Tyrrel approaches and Richard whispers to him. Then Tyrrel steps back.
I will dispatch it straight.
Exit Tyrrel. Re-enter Buckingham.
My lord, I have considered in my mind the late request that you did sound me in.
Well, let that rest. Dorset is fled to Richmond.
I hear the news, my lord.
Stanley, he is your wife's son. Well, look unto it.
My lord, I claim the gift, my due by promise, for which your honor and your faith is pawned. The earldom of Hereford, and the movables which you have promised I shall possess.
Stanley, look to your wife. If she convey letters to Richmond, you shall answer it.
What says your highness to my just request?
I do remember me, Henry VI did prophesy that Richmond should be king, when Richmond was a little peevish boy. A king, perhaps.
My lord, your promise for the earldom.
How chanced the prophet could not at that time have told me, I being by, that I should kill him?
My lord.
Aye, what is the o'clock?
I am thus bold to put your grace in mind of what you promised me.
Well, but what's o'clock?
Upon the stroke of 10.
Well, let it strike.
Why let it strike?
Because that, like a jack, thou keep'st the stroke betwixt thy begging and my meditation. I am not in the giving vein today.
Why then, resolve me whether you will or no.
Thou troublest me. I am not in the vein.
Exit Richard, and is followed by all but Buckingham.
And is it thus? Repays he my deep service with such contempt? Made I him king for this? Oh, let me think on Hastings and be gone to Breaknock, while my fearful head is on.
Exit Buckingham. Scene 3 later, the same. Enter Tyrrel.
The tyrannous and bloody act is done. The most arch deed of piteous massacre that ever yet this land was guilty of. Their lips were 4 red roses on a stalk, and in their summer beauty kissed each other. A book of prayers on their pillow lay, which once almost changed my mind, but yet I smothered the most sweet work of nature that from the prime creation ere she framed. Hence both are gone, and I to bear the tidings to the bloody, bloody king. And here
Enter
he
Richard.
comes.
Kind Tyrrel, am I happy in thy news?
Be happy in thy news, for it is done.
Come to me, Tyrrel, soon at after supper, when thou shalt tell the process of their death. Meantime, but think how I may do thee good, and be inheritor of thy desire. Farewell till then.
I humbly take my leave.
Exit Tyrrel.
The son of Clarence have I pent up close. His daughter meanly have I matched in marriage. The sons of Edward sleep in Abraham's bosom. And Anne, my wife, hath built this world good night. Now, for I know the Breton Richmond aims at young Elizabeth, my brother's daughter, and by that knot looks proudly on the crown. to her go I, a jolly, thriving wooer.
Enter Ratcliffe.
My lord.
Good or bad news that thou comest in so bluntly?
Bad news, my lord. Morton is fled to Richmond, and Buckingham, backed with the hardy Welshman, is in the field, and still his power increaseth.
Eli with Richmond troubles me more near than Buckingham and his rash levied strength. Come, I have learned that fearful commenting is leaden servitor to dull delay. Delay leads impotent and snail-paced beggary. Then fiery expedition be my wing. Chose Mercury and herald for a king. Go, muster men. My counsel is my shield. We must be brief when traitors brave the field.
Exeunt. Scene 4, before the palace. Enter old Queen Margaret.
So now prosperity begins to mellow and drop into the rotten mouth of death. Here in these confines slyly have I lurked to watch the waning of mine enemies. In dire induction am I witness to, and will to France, hoping the consequence will prove as bitter, black, and tragical. Oh, withdraw thee, wretched Margaret. Who comes here?
She steps aside. Enter Duchess of York and Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, my poor princess. Oh, my tender babes. Wilt thou, O God, life from such gentle lambs and throw them in the entrails of the wolf? When didst thou sleep when such a deed was done?
When holy Harry died, and my sweet son.
So many miseries have crazed my voice that my woe-weary tongue is still and mute. Edward Plantagenet, why art thou dead?
Plantagenet, Edward for Edward pays a dying debt.
Who hath any cause to mourn but we?
Queen Margaret comes forward.
Tell over your woes again by viewing mine. I and Edward him. But Edward till Richard killed him. That's Sir Richard till Richard killed him.
O Harry's wife, triumph not in my woes. God witness with me, I have wept for thine.
Richard yet lives hell's black intelligencer, only reserved their factor to buy souls and thither and pursues this pity and unpitied end. Earth gapes, hell burns, fiends roar, saints pray to him suddenly them hence. Cancel his bond of life, dear God, I pray, that I may live and say, the dog is dead.
Queen Margaret begins to exit.
Oh, that this prophecy the time would come that I should wish for thee to help me curse that bottle spider, that foul hunchback toad. Oh, thou well skilled in curses, stay a while and teach me how to curse mine enemies.
Forbear to sleep the nights and fast the days. Compare dead happiness with living woe. Think that thy babes were sweeter than they were, and that he that slew them fouler than he is. Bettering thy loss makes the bad causer worse. Resolving this will teach thee how to curse.
My words are dull. Oh, quicken them with thine.
Thy woes will make them sharp and pierce like mine.
Exit Queen Margaret.
Why should calamity be so full of words?
Let them have scope. The what they will impart help nothing else. Yet they do ease the heart.
If so, then be not tongue-tied. Go with me, and in the breath of bitter words let's smother my damned son that thy two sweet sons smothered.
A trumpet sounds.
The
Enter
trumpet
King
sounds.
Richard and his train, including
Be copious
Cassidy.
in exclaims.
Enter King Richard and his train, including CATESBY.
Who intercepts me in my expedition?
Oh, she that might have intercepted thee by strangling thee in her accursed womb for all the slaughterer's wretch that thou hast done.
Tell me, thou villain slave, where are my children?
Thou toad, where is thy brother Clarence and little Ned Plantagenet his son?
Where is my gentle brother Lord Rivers? Where is kind Hastings?
Art thou my son?
Aye, I thank God, my father, and yourself.
A grievous burden was thy birth to me. Tetchy and wayward was thy infancy. Thy school days frightful, desperate, wild, and furious. Thy prime of manhood daring, bold, and venturous. Thy age confirmed, proud, subtle, sly, and bloody. More mild, but yet more harmful. Kind in hatred. What comfortable hour canst thou name that ever graced me with thy company?
If I be so disgracious in your eye, let me march on and not offend you, madam. Strike the drum!
I pray thee, hear me speak.
You speak too bitterly.
Hear me a word, for I shall never speak to thee again.
So,
Either thou wilt die by God's just ordinance, ere from this war thou turn a conqueror, or I with grief and extreme age shall perish, and never more behold thy face again. Therefore, take with thee my most grievous curse, which in the day of battle tire thee more than all the complete armor that thou wearest. My prayers on the adverse party fight, and there the little souls of Edward's children whisper the spirits of thine enemies, and promise them success and victory. Bloody thou art, bloody will be thy end. Shame serves thy life, and doth thy death attend.
Exit Duchess of York.
But from her cause, yet much less spirit to curse abides in me. I say amen to her.
stay, madam. I must talk a word with you.
I have no more sons of the royal blood for thee to slaughter.
No more sons, but yet you have a daughter called Elizabeth, virtuous and fair, royal and gracious.
And must she die for this? Oh, let her live, and I'll corrupt her manners, stain her beauty, slaughter myself as false to Edward's bed, throw over her the veil of infamy, so she may live unscarred of bleeding slaughter. I will confess she was not Edward's daughter.
From not her birth, she is a royal princess.
To save her life, I'll say she is not so.
Her life is safest only in her birth.
And only in that safety died her brothers. My babes were destined to a fairer death, if grace had blessed them with thee with a fairer life.
Oh, you speak as if I had slain my cousins.
Cousins indeed, and by their uncle cousined of comfort, kingdom, kindred, freedom, life. Whose hands soever launched their tender hearts, thy head, all indirectly gave direction. No doubt the murderous knife was dull and blunt till it was whetted and thy stone-hard heart to revel in the entrails of my lambs.
Madam, so thrive I in my enterprise and dangerous success of bloody wars, as I intend more good to you and yours than ever you or yours by me were harmed.
What good is covered with the face of heaven to be discovered that can do me good?
the advancement of your children, gentle lady.
Up to some scaffold there to lose their heads.
Unto the dignity and height of fortune, the high imperial type of this earth's glory.
Tell me what state, what dignity, what honor canst thou demise to any child of mine? Be brief, lest that the process of thy kindness last longer telling than thy kindness date.
Then know that from my soul I love thy daughter, and do intend to make her Queen of England.
Well then, who dost thou mean shall be her king?
Oh, even he that makes her queen. Who else should be?
What, thou?
Even so. How think you of it?
How canst thou woo her?
That would I learn of you, as one being best acquainted with her humor.
What were I best to say? Her father's brother would be her lord? Or shall I say her uncle? Or he that slew her brothers and her uncles? Under what title shall I woo for thee, that God, the law, my honor, and her love can make seem pleasing to her tender years?
Look, what is done cannot be now amended. We shall deal unadvisedly sometimes, which after hours gives leisure to repent. If I did take the kingdoms from your sons to make amends, I'll give it to your daughter. If I have killed the issue of your womb to quicken your increase, I will beget mine issues of your blood upon your daughter. The loss you have is but a son being king, and by that loss your daughter is made queen. I cannot make you what amends I would, therefore accept such kindness as I can. Dorset, your son, with fearful soul, leads discontented steps in foreign soil. This fair alliance quickly shall call home to high promotions and great dignity. The king that calls your beauteous daughter wife, familiarly shall call thy brother. Again shall you be mother to a king, and all the ruins of distressful times repaired with double riches of content. What? We have many goodly days to see. Go then, my mother, to thy daughter. Go. Prepare her ears to hear a wooer's tale. Put in her tender heart the aspiring flame of golden sovereignty. Acquaint the princess with the sweet silent hours of marriage joys. Tell her the king that may command entreats.
That at her hands which the king's king forbids.
Say I will love her everlastingly.
But how long shall that title ever last?
Sweetly in force until her fair life's end.
But how long fairly shall her sweet life last?
As long as heaven and nature lengthens it.
As long as Helen Richard likes of it.
Oh, your reasons are too shallow and too quick.
Oh no, my reasons are too deep and dead. Too deep and dead, poor infants in their graves.
Now, by my George, my garter, and my crown.
Profaned, dishonored, and the third usurped.
I swear.
By nothing, for this is no oath. Thy George, profaned, hath lost his lordly honor. Thy garter, blemished, pawned his knightly virtue. Thy crown usurped, disgraced his kingly glory. If something thou wouldst swear to be believed, swear then by something that thou hast not wronged. What canst thou swear by now?
The time to come.
Swear not by time to come, for that thou hast misused or used by times ill used or past.
As I intend to prosper and repent, so thrive I in my dangerous affairs of hostile arms. Myself am confound, heaven and fortune bar me happy hours. Day, yield me not thy light, nor night thy rest. Be opposite all planets of good luck to my proceeding, if with dear heart's love, immaculate devotion, holy thoughts, I tender not thy beauteous princely daughter. In her consist my happiness and thine. Without her follows to myself and thee, herself, the land, many a Christian soul, death, desolation, ruin, and decay. It can be avoided, but by this. It will not be avoided, but by this. Therefore, dear mother, I must call you so. Be the attorney of my love to her. Plead what I will be, not what I have been, not my deserts, but what I will deserve. Urge the necessity and state of times, and be not peevish, found in great designs.
Shall I be tempted of the devil thus? Shall I forget myself to be myself? Thou didst kill my children.
But in your daughter's womb I bury them, where in that nest of spicery they will breed selves of themselves to your recforture.
Shall I go win my daughter to thy will?
And be a happy mother indeed.
I go. Write to me very shortly, and you shall understand from me mine.
Bear her my true love's kiss, and so farewell.
Exit Queen Elizabeth.
Relenting fool and shallow, changing woman.
Enter Ratcliffe.
How now? What news?
Most mighty sovereign on the west coast ridest the pursuant navy. To our shores throngs may doubtful, hollow-hearted friends, unarmed and unresolved to beat them back. 'Tis thought that Richmond and their admiral, and there they haul, expecting but the aid of Buckingham to welcome them ashore.
Some light-footed friend post the Duke of Norfolk, that knave of mine, CATESBY. Bid him levy straight, the greatest strength and power that he can make.
Exit CATESBY.
Ratcliffe, come hither. Post to Salisbury.
Enter Stanley in a haste.
What? May it please you, shall I do it Salisbury?
Why, what wouldst thou do there before I go?
Your Highness told me I should post there.
My mind is changed. Stanley, what news with you?
None good, my liege, to please you with the hearing, nor none so bad, but well may be reported.
No, they a riddle, neither good nor bad. Didst thou run so many miles about, when thou mayst tell thy tale the nearest way? Once more, what news?
Richmond is on the seas.
There let him sink, and be the seas on him. White-livered runagate, what doth he there?
I know not, mighty sovereign, but by guess.
Well, as you...
Stirred up by Dorset, Buckingham, and Morton, he makes for England, here to claim the crown.
Is the chair empty? Is the sword unswayed? Is the king dead? The empire unpossessed? What heir of York is there alive but we? And who is England's king but Brooks heir? Then tell me, what makes he upon the seas?
Unless for that, my liege, I cannot guess.
Unless for that he comes to be your liege. You cannot guess wherefore the Welshman comes. Thou wilt revolt and fly to him, I fear.
Oh, no, my good lord. Therefore mistrust me not.
Where is thy power, then, to beat him back? Where be thy tenants and thy followers? Are they not now upon the western shore, safe conducting the rebels from their ships?
No, my good lord. My friends are in the north.
Cold friends to me. What do they in the north when they should serve their sovereign in the west?
They have not been commanded, mighty king. Pleaseth your majesty to give me leave. I'll muster up my friends and meet your grace where and what time your majesty shall please.
Thou wouldst be gone to join with Richmond. I'll not trust thee.
Oh, most mighty sovereign, you have no cause to hold my friendship doubtful. I never was, nor never will be false.
Go then, and muster men. But leave behind your son, George Stanley. Look your heart be firm, or else his head's assurance is but frail.
So deal with him as I prove true to you.
Exit Stanley, enter first messenger.
My gracious sovereign, now in Devonshire, as I by friends am well advertised, Sir Edward Courtney and the haughty prelate, Bishop of Exeter, his elder brother, with many more confederates, are in arms.
Enter second
In
messenger.
Kent, my liege, the Guilfords are in arms, and every hour more competitors flock to the rebels, and their power grows strong.
Enter third messenger.
My lord, the great army of great Buckingham.
Huh? Out on you, elves! Nothing but songs of death!
He striketh him.
There, take thou that till thou bring better news.
The news I have to tell your majesty is that by sudden floods and fall of waters, Buckingham's army is dispersed and scattered, and he himself wandered away alone, no man knows whither.
I cry thee mercy. There is my purse to cure that blow of mine.
He gives money. Enter fourth messenger.
Sir Thomas Lovell and Lord Marquis Dorset, 'tis said, my liege, in Yorkshire are in arms. But this good comfort bring I to your highness. The Breton navy is dispersed by tempest. Richmond, in Dorsetshire, sent out a boat unto the shore to ask those on the banks if they were his assistants, yea or no. Who answered him, they came from Buckingham upon his party. He, mistrusting them, hoisted sail and made his course again for Brittany.
March on, since we are up in arms. If not to fight with foreign enemies, yet to beat down these rebels here at home.
Re-enter CATESBY.
My liege, the Duke of Buckingham is taken. That is the best news. That the Earl of Richmond is with a mighty power landed at Milford is colder tidings. Yet they must be told.
The way toward Salisbury. While we reason here, a royal battle might be won or lost. Someone take order Buckingham be brought to Salisbury. The rest march on with me.
Exeunt. Scene 5. Lord Derby's house. Enter Stanley with his messenger.
Sir Christopher, tell Richmond this from me, that in the sty of the most deadly boar, my son George Stanley is franked up in hold. If I revolt, off goes young George's head. The fear of that holds off my present aid. So get thee gone, command me to thy lord withal, and say that the queen hath heartily consented he should espouse Elizabeth, her daughter.
Stanley gives him a paper.
Go hie thee to thy lord. I kiss his hand. My letter will resolve him of my mind. Farewell.
Exeunt. Act 5, Scene 1. Salisbury an open place. Enter Buckingham with a sheriff led to execution.
Will not King Richard let me speak with him?
No, my good lord. Therefore, be patient.
This is All Souls' Day, fellow, is it not?
It is.
Why, then, All Souls' Day is my body's doomsday. This is the day which, in King Edward's time, I wished might fall on me when I was found false to his children and his wife's allies. This is the day wherein I wish to fall by the false faith of him whom most I trusted. This is All Souls' Day to my fearful soul is the determined respite of my wrongs. That high all-seer which I dallied with hath turned my feigned prayer upon my head and given in earnest what I begged in jest. Thus doth he force the swords of wicked men to turn their own points in their masters' bosoms. Thus Margaret's curse falls heavy on my neck. When he, quoth she, shall split my heart with sorrow, remember Margaret was a prophetess. Come, lead me, officers, to the block of shame. Wrong hath but wrong, and blame the due of blame.
Exit Buckingham, led off by sheriff. Scene 2, the camp near Tamworth. Enter Richmond, Oxford, and others with drum and colors.
Fellows in arms, and my most loving friends, bruised underneath the yoke of tyranny, thus far into the bowels of the land have we marched on without impediment. And here receive we from our father Stanley lines of fair comfort and encouragement. The wretched, bloody, and usurping boar that spoiled your summer fields and fruitful vines swills your warm blood like wash, makes his trough in your emboweled bosoms. This foul swine is now even in the center of this isle, near to the town of Leicester, as we learn. From Tamworth thither is but one day's march. In God's name, cheerly on, courageous friends, to reap the harvest of perpetual peace by this one bloody trial of sharp war.
I doubt not, but his friends will turn to us.
Yeah, for he hath no friends. But what are friends for fear, which is his dearest need, will fly from him.
All for our vantage. Then in God's name, march. True hope is swift, and flies with swallows' wings. Kings it makes gods, and meaner creatures kings.
Exeunt. Scene 3, Bosworth Field. Enter King Richard in arms with Ratcliffe and other lords with soldiers.
Here pitch our tent, even here in Bosworth Field. Up with my tent!
The soldiers begin to pitch the tent.
Here will I lie tonight. But where tomorrow? Well, all's one for that. Who hath described the number of the traitors?
6,000 or 7,000 is the utmost power.
Oh, why, our battalion trebles that account. Besides, the king's name is a tower of strength, which they have upon the adverse faction want. Up with the tent! Come, noble gentlemen, let us survey the vantage of the ground, call for some men of sound direction. Let's lack no discipline, make no delay, for lords, tomorrow is a busy day.
The tent now in place. Exeunt. Enter on the other side of the field Richmond, Oxford, with other lords who set up Richmond's tent.
The weary sun hath made a golden set, and by the bright track of his fiery car gives token of a goodly day tomorrow. Give me some ink and paper in my tent. I'll draw the form and model of our battle, limit each leader to his several charge, and part in just proportion our small power. My Lord of Oxford, you, Sir William Brandon, and you, Sir Walter Herbert, stay with me. The Earl of Pembroke keeps his regiment. Good Captain Blunt, bear my good night to him, and by the second hour in the morning desire the Earl to see me in my tent. Yet one thing more, my good captain, do for me. Where is Lord Stanley quartered? Do you know?
His regiment lies half a mile at least south from the mighty power of the king.
If without peril it be possible, sweet Blunt, make some good means to speak with him. Give him from me this most needful note.
He gives a paper.
Upon my life, my lord, I'll undertake it. And so God give you quiet rest tonight.
Good night, good Captain Blunt.
Exit Blunt.
Come, gentlemen, let us consult upon tomorrow's business into my tent. The dew is raw and cold.
Richmond and Oxford withdraw into the tent, the others exit. Re-enter to his tent Richard, Radcliffe, and Catesby with soldiers.
What? Is my beaver easier than it was, and all my armor laid into my tent?
It is, my liege, and all things are in readiness.
Send out a pursuivant at arms to Stanley's regiment. Bid him bring his power before sunrising, lest his son George's fall into the blind cave of eternal night.
Exit Catesby.
Ratcliffe.
My lord.
Sawest thou the melancholy Lord Northumberland?
Thomas, the Earl of Surrey, and himself, much about cockshut time, from troop to troop, went through the army cheering up the soldiers.
So, I am satisfied. Give me a bowl of wine. I have not that alacrity of spirit nor cheer of mind that I was wont to have.
Wine is brought.
Sit it down. Bid my guard watch and leave me. Ratcliffe, about the mid of night come to my tent and help to arm me. Leave me, I say.
Radcliffe exits. Richard sleeps in his tent, which is guarded by soldiers. Enter Stanley to Richmond in his tent, lords and others attending.
Fortune and victory sit on thy helm.
All comfort that the dark night can afford be to thy person.
The silent hours steal on, and flaky darkness breaks within the east. In brief, for so the season bids us be, prepare thy battle early in the morning, and put thy fortune to the arbitrament of bloody strokes and mortal staring war. I, as I may, that which I would I cannot, with advantage will deceive the time and aid thee in this doubtful shock of arms. But on thy side I may not be too forward, lest being seen thy brother, tender George, be executed in his father's sight. Farewell. The leisure and the fearful time cut off the ceremonious vows of love, and ample interchange of sweet discourse which so long sundered friends should dwell upon. Give us leisure for these rites of love. Once more, adieu. Be valiant and speed well.
Good lords, conduct him to his regiment. I'll strive with troubled thoughts to take a nap, lest laden slumber pease me down tomorrow when I should mount with wings of victory.
Exeunt all but Richmond from his tent. Richmond kneels.
O thou, whose captain I account myself, look on my forces with a gracious eye. Put in their hands thy bruising irons of wrath, that they may crush down with a heavy fall these usurping helmets of our adversaries. Make us thy ministers of chastisement, that we may praise thee in victory. To thee I do commend my watchful soul, ere I let fall the windows of my eyes, sleeping and waking. Defend me still.
He sleeps. Ghosts of all those Richard killed enter.
Oh, let me sit heavy in thy soul tomorrow. Or Clarence, by thy guile betrayed to death. Tomorrow with the battle think on me, and fall thy edgeless sword. Despair and die. Thou offspring of the house of Lancaster, the wrong dares of York do pray for thee. Good angels, guard thy barrel, and live and flourish.
Exit Ghost of Clarence. Ghost of Prince Edward.
Dream on thy cousin smothered in the tower. Let us be led within thy bosom, Richard, and weighed down to ruin, shame, and death. Thy nephew's souls bid thee despair and die. Sleep, Richmond, sleep in peace and wake in joy. Good angels guard thee from the boar's annoy. Live and get a happy race of kings. Edward's unhappy sons do bid thee flourish.
Exit Ghost of the Young Prince.
Richard, thy wife, wretched and thy wife, that never slept a quiet hour with thee, now fills thy sleep with perturbations. Tomorrow in the battle think on me, and fall thy edgeless sword. Despair and die. Thou, quiet soul, sleep thou a quiet sleep. Dream of success and happy victory. Thy adversary's wife doth pray for thee.
Exit Ghost of Anne.
Oh.
The first was I that helped thee to crown. The last was I that felt thy tyranny. Oh, in the battle think on Buckingham, and die in terror of thy guiltiness. Dream on of bloody deeds and death. Fainting, despair, despairing, yield thy breath. I died for hope ere I could lend thee aid. But cheer my heart, and be thou not dismayed. God and good angels fight on Richard's side, and Richard fall in height of all his pride.
Exit Ghost of Buckingham. Other ghosts swarm, then disappear, as Richard starteth up out of a dream.
Give me another horse! Bind up my wounds! Have mercy, Jesu! Soft, I did but dream. Oh, coward conscience, how thou dost afflict me! Cold, fearful drops stand on my trembling flesh. What do I fear? Myself? There's none else by. Is there a murderer here? No. Yes, I am. Then fly. What? From myself? A great reason why, lest I revenge? What? Myself upon myself? Alack, I love myself. Wherefore? For any good that I myself have done unto myself? Oh no. Alas, I rather hate myself. For hateful deeds committed by myself, I am a villain. Did I lie? I am not. Fool! Of thyself speak well. Fool! Do not flatter. My conscience hath 1,000 several tongues, and every tongue brings a several tale, and every tale condemns me for a villain. Perjury, perjury in the highest degree. Murder, stern murder in the direst degree. All sins, all used in each degree. Throng to the bar, crying, oh, guilty, guilty. I shall despair. There is no creature loves me. And if I die, no soul will pity me. And wherefore should they? Since that I myself find in myself no pity to myself. Methought the souls of all that I had murdered came to my tent.
And everyone did threat tomorrow's vengeance on the head of Richard.
Enter Ratcliffe.
My lord!
Zoons! Who's there?
Radcliffe, my lord, 'tis I. The early village cock has cried, and salutations to the morn. Your friends are up and buckle on their armor.
Oh, Ratcliffe, I have dreamed a fearful dream. What thinkest thou? Will our friends prove all true?
No doubt, my lord.
Oh, Ratcliffe, I fear. I fear.
Nay, good my lord, be not afraid of shadows.
Oh, by the Apostle Paul, shadows tonight have struck more terror to the soul of Richard than can the substance of 10,000 soldiers, armed in proof and led by shallow Richmond. 'Tis not yet near day. Come, go with me to see if any mean to shrink from me.
Exit Richard and Ratcliffe. Enter Oxford to Richmond in his tent.
Tomorrow, Richmond, how have you slept, my lord?
The sweetest sleep and fairest boding dreams that ever entered in a drowsy head have I since your departure had, my lord. Methought that their souls, whose bodies Richard murdered, came to my tent and cried on victory. I promise you my soul is very jocund in the remembrance of its so fair a dream. How far into the morning is it, sir?
Upon the stroke of 4.
Why, then 'tis time to arm and give direction.
He leaves his tent and gives his oration to his soldiers.
God and our just cause fight upon our side. The prayers of holy saints and wronged souls, like high-reared bulwarks, stand before our faces. For what is he they follow? Truly, gentlemen, a bloody tyrant and a homicide, one raised in blood and one in blood established, one that made means to come by what he hath and slaughter those that were the means to help him. A base, foul stone, made precious by the foil of England's chair, where he is falsely set. One that hath ever been God's enemy. And if you fight against God's enemy, God's will in justice ward you as his soldiers. And in the name of God and all these rights, advance your standards. Draw your willing swords. For me, the ransom of my bold attempt shall be this cold corpse on the earth's cold face. But if I thrive, the gain of my attempt, the least of you shall share his part thereof. Sound drums and trumpets boldly and cheerfully. God and St. George, Richmond and victory.
Exeunt. The clock striketh. Enter King Richard, Ratcliffe, and soldiers.
Who saw the sun today?
Not I, my lord.
That he disdains to shine. For by the book he should have braved the east an hour ago. A black day will it be to somebody.
Arm! Arm, my lord! The foe vaunts in the field!
Come! Bustle! Bustle! Caparison my horse. Call up Lord Stanley. Bid him bring his power. I will lead forth my soldiers to the plain. Go, gentlemen! Every man unto his charge. Let not our babbling dreams affright our souls. Conscience is but a word that cowards use, devised at first to keep the strong in awe. Our strong arms be our conscience, swords our law. March on, join bravely. Let us to it pell-mell, if not to heaven, then hand in hand to hell.
He turns to his army and gives his oration to them.
What shall I say more than I have inferred? Remember whom you are to cope withal. A sort of vagabonds, rascals, and runaways, a scum of Britons and base lackey peasants, whom their overcloyed country vomits forth to desperate adventures and assured destruction. You, having lands and blessed with beauteous wives, they would restrain the one, disdain the other. And who doth lead them but a paltry fellow, a milksop, one that never in his life felt so much cold as overshoes in snow? Let's whip these stragglers o'er the seas again, lash hence these overweening rags of France, these famished beggars weary of their lives, who, but for dreaming of this fond exploit, for want of means, poor rats, had hanged themselves. If we be conquered, let men conquer us, and not these bastard Britons, whom our fathers have in their own land beaten, bombed, and thumped. In the record left them their heirs of shame. These shall enjoy our lands, lie with our wives, ravish our daughters.
Drum afar off.
Hark! I hear their drum. Fight, gentlemen of England! Fight, bold yeomen! Draw, archers! Draw your arrows to the head, spur your proud horses hard, and ride in blood. Amaze the welkin with your broken staves.
Enter a messenger.
What says Lord?
My lord, he was denied to come.
Off with son George's head.
My lord, the enemy is past the marsh. After the battle, let George Stanley die!
1,000 hearts are great within my bosom. Advance our standards. Set up our foes. Our ancient word of courage. Fair St. George, inspire us with the spleen of fiery dragons. Upon them! Victory sits on our helms.
Exeunt. Scene 4, another part of the field. Alarm. Excursions. Soldiers and lords fly across the stage. Enter CATESBY.
Rescue! My gracious lord, rescue! Rescue! The king enacts more wonders than a man. Daring and opposite to every danger, his horse is slain, and all on foot he fights, seeking for Richmond in the throat of death. Rescue, fair lords, or else the day is lost!
Exit CATESBY with soldiers. Alarms. Enter Richard.
A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!
Enter Richmond. They fight. Richard is slain.
God in your arms be praised, victorious friends. The day is ours. The bloody dog is dead.
A retreat sound. Flourish. Enter Stanley with other lords and soldiers. He removes the crown from Richard's and approaches Richmond and offers the crown.
Courageous Richmond, well hast thou acquit thee. Lo, here this long usurped royalty from the dead temples of this bloody wretch have I plucked off to grace thy brows withal. Wear it, enjoy it, and make much of it.
Great God of heaven, say amen to all. But tell me, is young George Stanley living?
He is, my lord, and safe in Leicester town, whither, if it please you, we may now withdraw us.
First, inter the dead as becomes their births. Proclaim a pardon to the soldiers fled that in submission will return to us. And then as we have taken the sacrament, we will unite the right rose and the red. Smile heaven upon this fair conjunction that long have frowned upon their enmity. What traitor hears me and says not amen? England hath long been mad and scarred herself. The brother blindly shed the brother's blood. The father rashly slaughtered his own son. The son compelled been butchered to the sire. All this divided York and Lancaster, divided in their dire division. Oh, now let Richmond and Elizabeth, the true succeeders of each royal house, by God's fair ordinance rejoin together. Let their heirs, God, thy will be so. Enrich the time to come with smooth-faced peace, with smiling plenty and fair prosperous days. Abate the edge of traitors, gracious Lord, that would reduce these bloody days again and make poor England weep in streams of blood. Let them not live to taste this land's increase, that would with treason wound this fair land's peace. Now civil wounds are stopped, peace lives again. That she may long live here, God say, Amen.
Amen.
Whoa! Wait.